Hey there, I just want to say yoga can be for everyone. However, it is your responsibility to determine if you are ready and able to perform this workout video. If you or a family member have a history of heart disease, high blood pressure, or are obese with any physical or medical condition that could be aggravated by a physical activity, please consult a physician before proceeding. If you are pregnant, also consider consulting a physician. If you have any history of injury such as neck, back, shoulder, or knee, please proceed with caution and stop immediately if you feel any pain, lightheadedness, or nausea. The user assumes all risks. Thanks, and I'll see you on the mat. Hey there, welcome to Connection Yoga. My name is Kat, and this is Roscoe here with me, and we are going to break down another pose. As I've hopefully shown through the pose breakdowns today, is that poses go from simple to complex, and as we get into more complex poses, there will be greater range of experiences due to a great diversity in both strength, range of motion, and other factors that are present. These things create a different pose for us each day and each time we come to the mat. Pigeon pose is the pose we are breaking down today, and these factors are quite evident within this pose. It reaches deep into our piriformis muscle and our sciatic nerve. So we are stretching those two major groups that can cause other pain or be related to other muscles around the body that are also accessed within this pose. So it's kind of a one-for-all pose. Some people, it's really, really difficult. It's a tense pose. Some people, not so much, and that is okay. I'm with the people that it feels a lot of ways in my body. And so we're going to talk about that and how to protect yourself while trying to get in this pose, because it does work on two of our major joints, which are our hip joint and our knee joint. We're not trying to stretch the knee. We never want to do that, but it will be put in a position where that could occur if you do not make steps to prevent it, protect yourself. So we're going to talk about those today. This is going to be more of a breakdown workshop because I think it's going to end up being a little bit longer than our usual, but I think it deserves it because this pose can be completely awesome and can also be a little risky. So let's get going. Pigeon pose. If you didn't even know what I was talking about that whole time and you stayed, thank you so much. You are awesome. I'm going to demonstrate the first version that we're going to talk about, because we're going to talk about a couple, and then you can try along with me. So assuming you're a little bit warmed up here, I just filmed a yoga practice, so I'm warmed up, I'm ready to get in it, but pigeon pose, woo, that's it. So starting with our feet through our legs, we're going to break it down and try along with me. So to get into this pose, you're going to place your hands on the earth. Actually, first what we're going to do is make our way to your back. And we're going to do supine pigeon first to show you a little bit about how your legs are going to be on the earth before we have to wedge them in there. Okay, so cross your right ankle over your left knee, create a 90-degree angle with that leg and open it, allowing your thigh bone to rotate out and open in your hip joint. Your crossed foot is flexed and pressing into the knee. And then what we can do to deepen this is we lift the left leg off of the earth, bringing the hands around the left thigh, threading the needle, as they say, and pulling that left thigh closer to the body. Now, this is figure 4, supine pigeon, whatever you want to call it, but this is generally the goal of how we want to shape our front leg when we are on pigeon prone, I think is the word, but when we're on our front in traditional style. So this is on your back. You can also do it on your seat, but we'll get there. So just to tell you, this is generally what we're aiming for. So a flexed foot, a triangle sort of shape with the leg, with the knee opening. Okay? So a deeper variation of that is to grab the top of the shin if you are interested while we're here. So grabbing the top of the shin pulls the leg even closer, and this is a good warm-up. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that. And the other side, left ankle crosses over right knee, and then you again lift it, pull your right thigh closer to pull that shin up, okay? So again, option, grab on top of the shin, deep in the stretch. And make sure your shoulders stay on the earth. If you go for that shin and they're hunched up here, you probably shouldn't grab it. It's not quite there for you. And that's okay. Grab the back of the leg and pull it in, maybe creating a little pulse with that pull, a dynamic movement to start waking up those hips for the full version of pigeon. So coming back to a seat if you're laying on your back, and we're gonna start to make our way onto our front pigeon. So place your hands again on the earth, come into tabletop. Curl your left toes on the earth and send the left leg back. Lift your right knee and bring it to the outside of your right wrist slightly with your left ankle kind of behind your left wrist. So creating again, a little triangle shape with the leg. Then we start to bring the back leg back a little bit and lower the knee down. So you want the top of the leg down here so that our hips stay neutral, stay square. Okay, so if you're like me, you can't see it right now, but there is a gap between the earth of my right hip and the earth. So because we want this foundation to be a square, even solid base, if that hip is lifted, put a block underneath to provide support so that we can access the piriformis and sciatic nerve muscles without endangering them. Now you can uncurl the back toes and make sure that top of the foot is down. Okay, so start with the front foot close to your groin region. That's the beginner stance, with your top of the foot down in a slight foot supination. All right, but what you can do to protect that knee is press the side foot down and press those muscles that activate around the knee, kind of protecting it, keeping it there. Okay, so hips are square to the earth, and it's a slight like scissoring kind of motion where you like squeeze your thighs and you're drawing your hip slightly in and right hip slightly in and back while your left hip is down and forward. Okay, so where shall we go now? So you also want to press not only your front foot down, but your shin as well. So by pressing those, we activate the thigh muscles, the back of the hip, and, start to fire it up. Make this an active pose. It's not just okay, we're here and we're folding over and this is pigeon, okay? Every pose in yoga can be quite active if you put in the work, and we're here too because this pose is awesome. So next, squeezing the inner thighs, top of the back thigh down all the way to the toes. All right, so when our hip bones are parallel, like we want them here, then the sacrum, your low back here, is less likely to be torqued. So if I didn't have this block down, but I forced it to come down, you see how I'm collapsing kind of over onto my right side. And if I tried to continue to lean forward in pigeon here, that could torque my low back, the sacrum area. And you don't have to do that. You can practice this pose without straining your low back. It's just bringing in a block, bringing in a pillow, rolled up blankets, towels, t-shirts, whatever. You can put it out here so that the outer hip has support. All right. Yep. What else? I just want to make sure I'm covering everything. Okay, also, another bad scenario if your hips aren't square. If your hip is not square and it's lifted, it could potentially be adding more pressure and weight onto the front knee. And we don't want that, okay? So if it's free floating up here, it could be lifting up onto the front knee, adding weight. If it's floating down to the earth while the hips aren't square, then the sacrum could be twerking. So neither is good, but both are avoidable with a beautiful block, okay? So next, we come up to our upper body. So we're doing the forward fold rendition of this right now. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your shoulders square to your hips, start up here tall, hands on the earth, supporting the extension from your belly, drawing up and in, out through your heart. Again, making this movement all the way through the leg, through the upper body, with your hands to support yourself. And then you can walk your hands to a deeper degree that suits you. So you want to reach an edge where you feel uncomfortable but not pain. If you start to feel any stretching sensation of your hip or your knee joints, you need to gently come out and then come back into what your edge is. If this is your edge, and some days it's definitely mine, that's fine, okay? But you can start to work your way down, and that's where we keep bringing in blocks, okay? So you can bring a block under you and put your arms on it if that's what you prefer. So you're trying to create that length in your spine, reaching forward as you squeeze your thighs. Or you can bring it down and arms on the earth support your head. And of course, there's different heights on your block. See which one you like the best, the lowest. And then eventually you'll work your way down to the earth. And this might be an every once in a while thing. This might be after an amazing hip sequence that you did, a great practice. Some days you just feel good, sometimes it just is, you know? That's just what our bodies are. They change every day, okay? So don't worry about it. I rarely get all the way down to the earth. And sometimes if I do, it starts to feel like I'm cutting off circulation to my leg. And that's not good. That means I'm a little too deep in. I clench a little bit too much. And that's where we really need to bring in our breath to continue to explore our body. So I'm gonna gently come out of this and switch sides while I continue to talk about breath. So if you wanna switch with me, setting up your left leg in front with that little triangle, scoot a little higher up. And scoot your left leg back, toes curled, lifting your leg, setting your thigh and knee down, uncurling, back leg is flat. Again, notice I have a little bit of a gap here, so I'm going to bring in my shorter block here and put it under because I need that support. And then you lengthen through the spine and walk yourself to your edge, okay? And when you find that edge, you bring the breath in, send it to whatever sensation that you notice, and use it to soften that. And then exhale, create a physical release for that softening through the release of the breath in your mouth. The tension can be in our mind, but it also is physical. So we use our physical breath to calm both our body and our mind while we work in these sometimes really intense still poses, okay? We're in the stillness. That can be so much work on its own, okay? So that is pigeon, my friends. Regarding the front leg, I start here, and that's good to protect yourself, but you are eventually going to work that front leg towards a shin being flat to the front of your mat, okay? Creating that 90 degree, that figure 4 that we saw in supine pigeon, more readily available. But here, when we have our back leg extending back, we have more going on, whereas on our backs, it's more isolated, might be a little easier. Here on the front, it could be a little more difficult to bring that leg, that shin flat to the front of the mat. Here, it's more understandable about pressing the side of the foot down and the side shin to press and protect that knee. So just play with both sides, play with distances of your heel away from your groin, and just notice if they present different things, different experiences, just different relationships within your body. So that is the regular traditional pigeon and supine pigeon. Beyond this one, there is royal pigeon, which I won't be able to do the full expression, but maybe, just maybe, while I try and explain this to you, maybe more flexible folks out there, what this pose is. So you come into the same pigeon prep pose with your chest up high, and what you're going to do is you are going to turn to grab your back foot and pull it in. Okay, so I've got pretty tight quads, so this is a little hard for me. You might as well, or this might just be a foot that's coming whoop all the way in here. Okay, so again, this foundation is crucial. This balance for you to be able to reach back here and grab it, you need to have that square base. So reach back, grab the foot, and then what you're going to do is you are going to use the front arm to stabilize the foot as you flip your right hand under and reach it back like you're serving a platter. Toes down, you're going to grab your pinky toe and then draw your elbow up and whoop. If I could do it, imagine I was holding my foot and grabbing it there. So that's how you would prep into that if you can do it. I personally can't, so what the modification that I do for this is I just try and get the foot in the seam of my crook of my corresponding arm, and then maybe reach the top arm over and create that sensation without having the complete flexibility. So you press that foot into the nook of your arm, the bind, and you lift your heart, maybe lift the gaze. Modified one-leg royal pigeon. So that's my version. It adds a little bit more. It's not just working our hip, but also our quad, our core, our chest, our back. It just takes pigeon to the next level. But as you can see, it is dependent on a great range of mobility. Some days I might be able to go a little bit deeper, closer, but I've honestly never been able to grab both hands or completely have just one holding it. So maybe it's my butt in the way, maybe it's my flexibility. We all have different things that contribute to what we can and can't do. If you can't do that, that's totally okay. Just do what you can each day and know it is enough. It is perfectly enough out there. So that is our pigeon workshop. So modifications to move into this, again, grow from your back to your seat, to your front, to maybe more. So many different things for you to try out there. If you have any questions about something I said, something we went over today, put it in the comment section below, and I will happily respond and discuss with you more about pigeon pose. So I hope you felt like a bird today, and maybe get back in and explore a little bit more on your own without me talking in your ear the whole time. If you liked what we did today, please hit the like button before you go. Subscribe if you aren't already. Hit the notification button, and I will see you next time for either a pose breakdown or flow. Namaste.